What's happening, everyone? I'm William Craddock, WillToWinGaming. I'm here with
The
Didi, also from WillToWinGaming, and this is our post-Peoria tournament report, where Didi placed. What'd you get?
27th.
So top 32. Yours truly placed top 8. So I got a serial Luffy this weekend. Lucky me. And we're just going to kind of talk about our decks and what we played against. And we're going to start off with me because I guess Doffy is up on our list already. So round 1, I played against Zoro.
Your favorite?
My favorite. So I was like, all right, we're starting off good. And then he rolls an 11. I roll a 12. So I get to go first. And I have a Perona in my opening hand. So I'm like, all right, this day is going to be great. I'm going to win this tournament. I beat the Zoro player because Zoro's free. And then I promptly lose round 2 to Edward Newgate. And
Straw Daddy.
it was Straw Daddy. And he actually ended up getting 8th place, so he won a serial Luffy himself. But we had a really close game. There was nothing really, I felt, weird about the game. We kind of went... He had his last 5 cards were 4 2Ks and a Rad Beam, and he survived exactly. So that... I mean, that's what Whitebeard does, right? So, but it's no hard feelings. Round 3, I played another Zoro.
Your favorite?
My favorite. It was free. Like, sorry, Zoro players. Like, this matchup's unwinnable for y'all. Round 4, I don't quite remember. I think that's the round I played Jamie Arreo, and he was on Law. So I'm like, okay, I know this guy is a good player. I played him before. My tournament's over, right? Law is not a great matchup. But me and him have this really long game. I think I got down to like 15 cards in my deck. And I ended up beating him. There's this really key turn where he has to commit all his Bonnies to draw a bunch of cards. And I just wipe his board. And after the game, he reveals to me his very first Nami he played bought him 3 blocker Laws.
That's what Nami does.
Yeah, so I was just like, all right, sorry about that. Because I was like, it wasn't like an easy match, but it was a lot easier than I'm used to with Law. Then round, what are we on, round 5? I think round 5 or round 4? 5. Round 5, I play a Luffy. Again, this matchup's just so bad for Luffy. Like, they just can't win. Round 6, I believe it was, I play my 3rd Zoro? I want to say it's my 3rd Zoro. So you see a pattern here, right? Like, I picked Doffy, I played a bunch of Zoros, and I cleaned house. Like, it was another free matchup. I might play that Zoro in round 5 and the Luffy in round 6, but, you know, that was yesterday. We can't remember that far. Round 7, I got to play a Doffy mirror. That was fun. I won the die roll, and just... He was the only opponent... I hope he didn't watch this, so I don't like saying this. But he's the only opponent I felt was just like... I don't think he was salty, but he was sad. And I understand, like, losing sucks, but I was like, man, don't be sad, you know. I lost round 2. You just gotta fight back. But I guess he's out of the contention for Luffy because he took his 2nd loss.
Does winning the die roll matter a lot there?
Yes. Doffy is a straight... I don't know if it's a straight die roll because I actually played the matchup really differently than he did. And I'll go to my round 8 and then I'll talk about a little bit about the Doffy deck throughout the day. So round 8 I played Whitebeard again, got my Vengeance, got my Luffy. Anyway, the main thing was, so this is an interesting statistic. You know what Perona does. It's kind of the key card. I had turn 1 Perona in round 1, and that's it. I didn't draw Perona for the rest of the day. Now, I think one game I might have had the baby Doffy, which you see here, which is like a really mini version of Perona, does 3 cards instead of 5. But like most of the day, I actually didn't even use my leader ability that much. It was just kind of like this combination of blue cards was so good that I was just winning. And I think you can just outplay your opponents with this combination of blue cards where the leader ability is good. If you have Perona, it's nuts. But I didn't really use it that much. And I think that was like the big takeaway for me is like blue is just strong. It's not, you don't have to nut draw to be strong. Like this configuration was so good all day when I was minimally using my leader ability. But yeah, I think that was pretty much it for my tournament. Do you want to talk about what you played right here?
Yeah, for sure. I think, for you, it's always a good feeling to sit down and be like, oh, this is an easy matchup.
Yeah,
They
Zoro.
can't win. These red decks, these Zoros, these Luffys. For me, I never feel like that. I do feel like I know how to pilot Newgate, but I don't sit down in front of someone and I'm like, you're toast. Because
Right.
I don't feel that way. But let's see. So round 1, I played against a Law, and I think this list is different. You updated it from the last time you gave me the deck, but it had Nico
Yes.
Robin, and
Yep.
that card, anytime I played against Zoro, Luffy, or Law, if I saw Nico Robin, I was pretty happy. And I'm usually not big on protecting my characters, but if it was just one card to protect the Nico Robin, I would protect it, and they have to commit Dawn to try and get rid of it. So this card was probably my favorite card throughout the whole tournament.
What about Daddy Newgate?
Daddy Newgate, he's always my favorite.
Okay. Just
I
checking.
usually mulligan until I see Daddy Newgate. That's how much I like him. Round 2, I played against Film Kid, and this was an interesting matchup because I don't necessarily think it's easy for me either if they are putting all their Dawn under their leader and attacking twice every turn.
Yeah.
I find that extremely difficult. This Film Kid, I know it feels really good to do the Film Kid things where you play the 7-drop and you get
Yep.
to spit out 2 more creatures, but I think that was actually the turning point where I was like, oh, I think I might win. If my opponent in that round 2 didn't do that, and instead of playing the 7-drop spitting out 2 bodies, they just put all their Dawn under their leader and attack twice, I think it was enough where when I come back and play Newgate, the Newgate actually doesn't do that much.
Right.
Because I would have no life. So
Yep.
Newgate definitely doesn't really shine there.
Like we believe like you do not actually have to play characters when you're playing Film Kid against Strawbeard. If you just attack, you will win.
Correct. And so we talked about it a little bit after that match, and where I pointed out, I think if you didn't do that, you probably would have won, but it's hard to say, right?
Right. People don't know just how to do it correctly.
And then round 3, I played against my former love, Kaido. Make Kaido great again. And so I was very familiar with these cards. If you play against me, I read everyone's cards because I don't play that much, and for some reason, even if I do read it, I just forget it.
Nothing wrong with that. Reading's fine.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I'm very unashamed. I'm like, what's that? And read it. So Kaido, this was an interesting matchup because I won the die roll and I was like, man, do I want to go first? I usually want to go first, but I was like, do I really want to give them an extra draw and give them an opportunity to get the island? And lo and behold, they didn't draw an island, so that's a huge problem there. And, I was playing around 10-drop Wrath Kaido the whole time, and then it turned out he didn't even have it in the deck, so...
Oops.
Yeah, the psychology of the 10-drop is more potent than the actual 10-drop itself because it made me play different. And so he was playing a Magellan variant, and so he actually pushed me back a Dawn when he played Magellan. I had to read Magellan, and I saw what would happen if I KO'd it, and I was like, okay, I'm never attacking that.
It's just going to hit me for 6 for the rest of the game.
Right. But it actually pushed me off my Newgate curve, because I was like, well, when I play Newgate, the most life I can have available is 1 instead of the usual 2, because I had to play Newgate a turn later. But, if you don't draw Island, it's not very good.
Yeah, you need
That's
Island
why I
for
stopped
Kaido.
playing Kaido. I was like, there's too much riding on me drawing an island and playing it on turn 3. Whereas with Newgate, I mulligan till I see Newgate, but if I don't see Newgate, my chances of drawing Newgate, whether off my life at the end of my turn, and I have like 4 turns until I need to play Newgate. So
see a lot of extra cards.
So it should be consistent. You should be able to play Newgate on turn 5, unless you play Nami and bottom all 4 to the bottom.
Which also happens, unfortunately.
And so then we had a lunch break, and, I'm not a really superstitious person, but I think lunch breaks just destroy me. I get bolused with food, and then I'm sleepy, and then I think all my opponents are just, like, refueled, and it's not good. So I took 2 losses, my only 2 losses in the tournament after lunch. Round 4, I played a smoker player who was very nice. He told me he watches the channel. And I don't have a lot of experience against smokers, so this is one I read every single card, and I was like, what is this? This is terrible. Like, everything I play dies, and it just wasn't fun. There was no point in that game I felt like I could win.
It's a tough matchup. It's a really tough matchup.
And he won the die roll, and I guess in this matchup I didn't know I would want to go second.
Yeah.
I'm more familiar with being on the play, and so he curved out. He had a Kuzan. He could kill all my new gates I played. Literally his next turn with his mix of Kuzan and was it Garp?
Garp, Kuzan, baby Kuzan. So there's two of them.
I was like, okay, so everything I play just dies. That's wonderful
Yeah.
news. So I promptly lost that. And then round 5, I played against a Zoro, and he ended up actually top 8ing as well.
Yeah.
And this one was interesting. I think Zoro's actually a lot tougher, and I do think it does matter who goes first. We both had new gates back to back, but I think because he won the die roll and got to play first and got to play new gate first, that was sort of their turning point there. It was really close either way, but I think if I had gone first, that would have made a world of difference.
Yeah, I mean, Zoro likes to go first. It's their thing.
And then round 6, I played against Law, and so again, Nico Robin, so good. Just get rid of all the blockers. I'm like, what is that? I don't know. It's under 3K. I'm just gonna get rid of it. Yeah. I
Doesn't
was
matter.
like,
Don't read it. Just
this
kill it.
card has too many words on it. I'm just gonna get rid of it if it's a 3K and under. And it works so well with things like Ace, and if I'm trying to win that turn, there's Otama that can also try and shrink things down, and you get rid of it. And
It's
so
like a package. It's like a complete package.
so
of
this
minus.
game was actually really interesting. It was unlike any of the other games I played, where my opening hand, I get to go first, and I have a perfect curve. It's like Nico, Robin, Luffy, Ace, Newgate. And I was like, I'll draw counters. You know, it'll be fine. I was wrong. I didn't draw counters for a large portion of the game. I just kept drawing my event counters, like my guard points and my radical beams, and I'm like, well, I can't play my Luffy and my Aces on curve because then I can't protect my life total. I have no Dawn to use my events, and Newgate's not really good if you don't have any life.
Yeah.
And so it actually pushed me a turn back, and he was attacking me for like 7, and I was just using guard points, and it was weird because I think maybe to my opponent, I don't want to speak for him, he thought maybe, wow, she doesn't have anything. Like, she's using her event counters for things she could play like a 1 or 2K counter for. She must not have anything. But I eventually drew counters, but I noticed my hand is like double Newgate back to back or something of that sort, and I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to play all these 4 guard points and 2 radical beams in my hand, so I'm like liberally getting rid of them. I'd rather have the counters in my hand for when I play Newgate. And so I think he made some attacks that would make sense if I didn't have counters, but then when he made these attacks, and I actually did have counters for it, they were suboptimal attacks, and I was able to win without curving the way that Whitebeard usually curves. It was a really weird game.
So summarize what she's trying to say is that for y'all who have short attention spans like me, if you draw too many events, use your events early because you may not have the Dawn up later in the game to use them all, and you're going to end up dying with like 2 radical beams and a guard point in your hand.
Yeah, that always feels bad.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of not feeling bad.
Right.
So I try and get rid of them early, but to my opponent, I can see, like, man, I only attacked her for 7K. That was a pretty aggressive radical beam there, which I don't love either.
Right, but you do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
You do what you got to do, 100%.
And I think he thought I didn't have anything, so he was attacking with the 6K Law blocker.
Yeah.
Which he really needed that blocker in the end to withstand attack
the
back.
onslaught.
But I think he thought, wow, she must not have anything. I was like, here's a counter. And so then after that, I played a Luffy. I'm sorry, I mix up Zoro and Luffy a lot. I had to write it down. I played a Luffy, and also Nico Robin's so good. It KO'd at least 2 or 3 creatures, and he spent a lot of resources trying to get rid of the Nico Robin, which is good for me. I was like, she did her job. Big fan.
Yeah, 2-for-1s all day.
And then my last matchup was a Zoro. And
we got to sit together that round.
We did get to sit together. And so speaking of that, I guess I'm used to pairings like in Magic the Gathering. I was sitting at the top tables like for a majority of the day. Like I sat between tables 1 to 36
Yeah.
for most of the day. So I thought, to me, that means, oh, there's a chance I should definitely get top 16. Maybe even one X2 will get top 8. And then I was kind of surprised when the pairings came out. I was like, oh, I mean 27th on my X2, and I was sitting at the top tables, and then they explained that it's randomly.
Yeah, it's
paired.
random within your bracket. So like your X2, and you could be at the top X2 table, but you might not necessarily be the top X2. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Magic in the last round, if you are at the top X2 table, you are the top X2. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, so that was there's a lot of wave of emotions where Will and I was like, oh, you're at table 7, you might be the X2 that squeaks in and gets a Luffy. You're definitely going to get top 16, definitely going to get Nationals invite. And then we look at the real thing, and I'm like, you lied to me, you lied.
I don't lie. It's just how tournaments are run in Bandai. It's just my bad. But you did good. X2 is a great finish. Like, you got to realize there's so many people who are just starting this game, or they've been playing for a while and they're trying to get better. Like, they would kill for an X2 finish.
Yeah, I definitely think playing Magic and Gathering a lot of the skills transfer over. I don't get to play as much One Piece as I like, but I trust Will to build me decks he thinks I will be good at. And
I'll build things good for you. 100%.
Yes, and so Daddy Newgate just really registers with me.
If we could, we'd just be like this, right? Boop.
I know.
Just maybe.
I know. I always feel so bad. I sit across my opponent, and my deck is like blinged out. Like, Will really went all out. Like, all the alt arts. I think there's even a manga ace in there.
10 Chopper Dawn.
10 Chopper Dawns. And I'm sitting across my opponent, and I'm like, I really don't play that much. I mean,
it's like you're.
It's to the point where they play like the regular card art of Newgate, and I'm like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, that's my card.
I like the bling, guys.
Don't
This
notice.
is how it is. I like the bling.
Didn't realize it. Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing I noticed, and this will be a small little spiel, but I noticed people after I took my first loss, and I was in the 1-1 tables, and there's some people around me, they'd lose, and they're just like, they wouldn't say their opponent got lucky. They'd be like, well, if only I'd drawn 3 more 2K counters, or if only. And I just watched their games, and I was like, there's so many things I'm not going to say they're like the wrong plays, but they're suboptimal. That's what we like to say. Plays aren't wrong, they're suboptimal. And I just like to reiterate, after every tournament I play, the first thing we do as a team is we discuss what we could have done better. It's never, that guy got lucky, that guy got lucky. It's, what could we have done better? And I still just like to reiterate, if you want to get better at this game, if you want to win your own prizing, like we do fairly consistently at every tournament, that's what you have to do. Don't blame the deck, don't blame the draw. Just see what, you might not have been able to win. You could have played perfectly and lost, but you still played perfectly, and that's what matters. Like, you can lose. Losing happens. But as long as you played the best game with what you were given, it doesn't matter, in my eyes. Like, that's just how it is.
This game's all luck.
It is not all luck.
Just kidding.
There's a reason the same people consistently do well.
Yeah.
But that was our tournament port for Peoria. Wednesday, you'll want to watch out for the Wednesday video, because that is the video we are going to give information on our giveaways. We're going to give away a couple boxes of OPO3. Don't forget to check out our Patreon. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and you want to sign off for us, Dee Dee?
I don't even know where the camera is, so sorry if I've been looking around. Oh. Hi!
All right.
Well, bye!
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. Oh.